The chapter begins with Makoto's surgery being a success, but she's in a coma, and the doctors are unsure if she'll ever wake up again. Sarah comes by to move Makoto to a more secure location, and asks Majima to come along, but Majima is looking to take revenge on Dojima, despite the impossible odds against it. We then cut to a meeting in a Dojima office. A Dojima office? No, the Dojima office. Now that Shibusawa is captain, he is looking to punish Kazama for all the underhanded tactics he used against Dojima. Awano pitches in and suggests they kill Kazama in jail, therefore, Shibusawa calls him a big stupid head, which Awano tries to report, but Awano is now of a lower rank, so he can't talk back to Shibusawa. Shibusawa plans on cutting ties with everyone related to the Kazama family, which leads back to Kiryu, standing around in the empty lot. Nishiki comes by and tells Kiryu he couldn't find Makoto anywhere, and brings up Majima's exploits in chapter 15, which involved Majima beating him up. Kiryu gets a message from an unknown number on his pager, so it's time to find a payphone. As it turns out, Sarah's the one calling, and he's heard of Tachibana's death, and wants to speak to Kiryu in Little Asia one-on-one. Once Kiryu reaches Little Asia, he is confronted by Elder Chen and Sarah. Elder Chen is sad at Tachibana's death, but he isn't mad at Kiryu for he did try his hardest to save him. Kiryu, after all this time, is still wanted by the cops, so Sarah tells him to get out of town to be safe. Sarah basically recaps to Kiryu what has happened to Makoto after she left Kiryu, and tells him that they moved her to a ship near the docks. Sarah knows that Shibusawa plans to get rid of Kazama's group, but they can still win if Makoto wakes up. That was the end goal of Kazama's plan, to get the empty lot for Sarah's group, to stop Dojima from becoming more powerful by making Sarah the chairman. Kiryu leaves to meet up with Nishiki, but Nishiki ends up bumping into Kiryu instead to tell him Shibusawa's gonna hit up Kazama's office and that a bunch of Dojima goons are coming to kill anyone with Kazama. Some goons show up and Kiryu tells Nishiki to go warn Kashiwagi while he holds off these dudes. Nishiki runs off while you deal with some goons. And after beating them up, you run off directly to the office, only to come across an empty street with Kuze standing in your way.
Kuze. あんた一人か。
Kuze reveals that they haven't made a move yet on the Kazama family office, but overall, their main goal is to kill every single person related to Kazama. And well, after fighting Kuze so many times, the thought of fighting him again kinda scares me because Kuze isn't someone fighting for personal gain cause he's already lost everything. The only thing keeping him going is his own pride, and Kiryu isn't really ready to fight someone like that, but he has no other choice. I gotta say, this rivalry between Kuze and Kiryu is honestly the stuff of legends. Kuze starts off as some punk to Kiryu, but as the fights go on, Kiryu begins to respect Kuze as a superior in some strange way. This being the final battle of the many these two have partaken in. And they go out of their way to nail this feeling with a poignant rendition of Kuze's previous battle themes. It's fight time.
Kuze no aniki.
上出来だよ。いつでもいいぜ。殺す気でかかってこいや。
Kuze starts this final battle already in heat mode, so you know he's not messing around anymore. He has the longest health bar out of all his fights, and he has the same moveset as his first battle but deals more damage. Kuze doesn't have his QTE from before, but a new one where Kuze and Kiryu just slug each other down with such brutality. ending in Kiryu delivering a final devastating blow. This battle is easily my favorite out of the 5 you have with Kuze. I will admit, they did kind of push Kuze a little bit too much. These constant rematches do get a bit stale, but it can be excused because they really nailed what they were going for here. Plus, Kuze is overall a great boss fight by himself. Kiryu beats up Kuze for the 5th and final time, and both of them have come to respect each other as mutuals. Kuze fills in Kiryu on how Shibusawa ordered Lao Gui to shoot Makoto a little to the right of her heart so she can be alive, so that Shibusawa could track them to Sarah's ship. Nishiki comes by to tell us the exact same thing, and Kuze gives Kiryu a final farewell before Kiryu heads off to the ship.
てめえは極道の一番深いところに足突っ込もうとしてる。風間の頭が止めたその道をこのまま進む覚悟があるんだったら行けや！
ええ。全部覚悟の上です。クゼの兄貴。
Keep in mind that once you go to the ship, you're on the last level of the game and everything will end. Do what you must, and I really do mean it this time, before you end it all. Same thing with Majima. Once you accept to go to his mission, it's over. We cut to Majima going to the Dojima office, but is then stopped by the goons who beat him up earlier. But he's not taking their crap today. This beatdown draws in a huge crowd, including Sagawa, who tells him to stop messing around, but this time Majima decides to actually step up to Sagawa here. Sagawa starts asking a lot of questions about what exactly is going on, why he's being so vague, but Majima isn't answering any of it. He doesn't care what Sagawa's gonna do, but if they try to harm the girl, he'll be there. And it's here where Sagawa actually lets go of Majima, just lets him be on his way. And it's here where they throw in the Mad Dog line. Here, the Mad Dog of Shimano is born, the title Majima wears and uses for the rest of the series.
やっと檻から飛び出したな。
Before we go on, I like to go back to the beginning of this game. What is Yakuza 0? It's a prequel, a story before Kiryu and Majima got the legendary names they're associated with in the future games. Kiryu being the Dragon of Dojima, and Majima being the Mad Dog of Shimano. This whole game is about how they earn those titles. And this is something which the ending of the game will elaborate on, so I'll just leave it at that. Majima shows up to Dojima's office, but before he begins throwing tables, we cut back to Kiryu's story. We see a ship, and we see that the Dojima family is outside the ship ready to attack. Sarah apparently isn't on it, but Shibusawa decides to launch the offensive anyways. But before they can do that, Kiryu and Nishiki show up. Now the Dojima family launch their attack, but Sarah's group fights back to no avail because the Dojima goons take it over quickly. Kiryu and Nishiki are getting ready for the fight of their lives. But before they head in, Kashiwagi shows up with a ton of support to help us out, and so begins Kiryu's final level.
こいつら
柏木さん、
風間組か。
桐生、錦山、お前らは船だ、渋沢を追え。不当の連中は風間組が引き受けた。桐生、行こうぜ。
This is my favorite level in the game. It's meaty, it's challenging, the setting is great. You know, like fighting goons on this luxury ship moving from casinos to outdoor areas, it's great. There's a few gun enemies here, so you need to watch yourself, because they blend into the background and the crowds very easily, but they deal massive damage, and from a distance. So you gotta make sure to get rid of them first. Once you're outdoors, the game throws a few mini-bosses with tough movesets, thankfully near benches. This level's got it all. The ultimate test of skill for the great combat you've partaken in the whole game, and also the music is phenomenal. This rockin' techno beat is a perfect way to send off the game. But Yakuza 0 finds a way to one-up itself with Majima's level. Kiryu reaches the top of the ship to find Shibusawa waiting for him, but before anything else happens, we cut back to Majima unleashing hell on the Dojima family. Majima's gone off the deep end, and I really love how the game's facial animations show this off, because Majima's just like twitching, like, but dude's insane. And it's here where Majima's final level and the game's last level begins.
こいつやべえぞ。いいからしまってる。いい加減にしとけよこのガキ。お前ら下っ端の首は数に入らんね。さっさとどかんかい。ボケが。
Your last beatdown begins with what can easily be called the best track in the game. We get this rockin' vocal track to end the level with, and the game has now come full circle and we're back in the Dojima office, but this time as Majima. This is a harder version of Kiryu's first level with a few changes, like the door being open so Majima doesn't have to break a window to get in. But you can actually revisit the bathroom if you'd like. And the level goes on until you reach the area where you fought Kuze, where the game pits you against a mini-boss with two gun dudes next to him. This mini-boss is pretty deadly because he hits a dangerous dropkick you want to watch out for. It's not a normal dropkick, it's different. What a great way to bring everything to an end. But it isn't over yet. Once Majima gets past Kuze's arena, you come across Awano.
元島の海真島五郎が18人殺しの冴島大河の兄弟分お前ら二人揃って随分と時代がかかってんな
Awano's already familiar that Majima pretty much just wants to beat up Dojima and calls him a crazy person for doing this instead of trying to live comfortably, but Majima just shuts him down. And well, after being shut down by Kiryu before, Awano's starting to see just how pathetic his lifestyle really is. He's become weaker than before because of the way he's lived. He started off strong in his own words, but he gave a shot at living it up rich only to rot because of it, becoming a joke in the eyes of Kiryu, Shibusawa, and his mutuals. This kind of embarrassment changed Awano's perspective on things, and well, it's fight time.
Anshin se, Dojima組のお仲間も後からまとめてあの世に送ってるわ。
Awano's moveset here is ripped off from a moveset in 5, which is rather sad, but it does fit his character rather well. And I haven't reviewed 5, so let me go over it. Awano's combat style is quite different from Kuze's. The best way to show it is that while Kuze's combos are more in line with Kiryu's rush style, you know, boxer, quick, precise, Awano's combos have a lot more in common with Kiryu's brawler style. Awano isn't a boxer like Kuze, he's just a buff dude punching with all his might, leading to a lot more imprecise swings which get the job done. He's just super strong. His strength is shown to a ridiculous extent in his QTE heat transition, where he manages to break a wall with one punch. His track is really great, one with a lot of weight to it. A man breaking out of his garbage lifestyle he imposed upon himself. He is the easiest of the lieutenants though, due to him having the shortest health bar and not many defensive actions, but that's just what the easy life did to him. Majima beats up Awano and he's a little bit tuckered out because despite Awano becoming weaker because of his lifestyle, he still is quite strong. So now that Awano's beaten up, he kind of reflects on how he could never reach the top with Kazuma around. He's never going to be able to have that seat of power, but maybe, just maybe, if he didn't indulge in his lifestyle and instead lived more like how Majima did, more balls out, he might have had a chance. And Majima hearing this reflects on everyone he's met along the way.
俺かてそないバカ正直に生きてきたわけやない。せやけどな、俺の周りにはバカに生きてバカに死んでった男たちがおった。そいつらのくだらん生き方が俺は男の最高の生き様やと気がついたんや。
And this is a great little moment, but before it goes on any longer, Lao Gui comes to interrupt by shooting Majima.
Awano.
But Awano stands for Majima and then gets shot like 100 more times. But he's still taking it and tries to take a charge at Lao Gui, but Lao Gui just stabs him. Dojima strolls up and is all like, what are you doing here? Now that Majima has tried to kill Dojima, well, Dojima's gotta get rid of Shimano because Majima is part of his clan. So yeah, it is 100% confirmed. Wait, it already was 100% confirmed that Dojima brings up that Lao Gui is the most expensive hitman in Asia. And it's here where I want to dive deep into Lao Gui's character and his importance to the story. Because a lot of people give Lao Gui crap for kind of coming a little late into the game, and that doesn't really give him enough time to shine, but I think it works, and I'm going to explain why. To start off, Lao Gui isn't really a character by himself. He doesn't really have any dramatic arc like the lieutenants or their charisma, which does kind of take away the whole thing of fighting against someone's ideals, because the great strength of Yakuza is that when you fight a boss, you're not just fighting some dude, you're fighting against what they believe in, and that brings a lot of weight to these fights. So for that to get kind of stripped away, it does kind of paint him in a weaker light, but instead of looking at Lao Gui as a character by himself, I think the more accurate representation is that he's representative of Dojima's power. It's the closest thing we have to a boss fight against Dojima, or rather, his influence. In those terms, it paints Dojima in a terrifying light as he has access to such a skilled killer, and Lao Gui's boss theme brings that about perfectly.
僕の底まで引きずり込んでるわ、堂島。
It's this insanely menacing track of a man who isn't fighting for his ideals, but rather a man out to kill you. It's scary and it's fight time. Lao Gui is quite the layered fight. He has 3 combat styles overall, and he will switch to one once his health goes down. He starts off with some claw things he used to stab Awano with. His combos here are quite dangerous because you can't block them normally unless you use the bag. He will enter heat mode soon enough, but get him down a bit more and it will lead to a QT where he ditches the claw for a Chinese broadsword and gun. You won't be at heat mode at the beginning of this style until later on. This style is even more deadly because you can't run away from a gun, and that broadsword has some reach of its own. So if you get his health down even lower, then it will lead to a QT where Lao Gui just gives up all its weapons and goes hands only. while knocking you into a new area that looks really cool. It's got a nice marble floor and all that. Lao Gui is still a threat without weapons because he has this dive headbutt move that can knock you down and has powerful, precise combos. This style also starts in heat mode, so he is max dangerous from the start. A challenging and complete final boss for Majima. And despite everything I just said, Majima manages to beat Lao Gui. And just continues to beat him up, giving him a bloody nose. Dojima gets scared and pulls out a gun and misses a shot. Majima reassures him that he will get to him. So Dojima re-aims, but before he can shoot again, he gets his gun shot out of his hand by Sarah, who is here now. So once we know that Sarah has entered the room, we cut back to Kiryu and Shibusawa, who has Makoto alive. Kiryu noticed this and tells her to let her go, cause like, Shibusawa was in possession of Makoto. He could've just straight killed her, but he didn't, for some reason. Shibusawa tells the doctor to wheel Makoto off because he can kill her later. Right now, he just wants to beat you up, so he can bask in the glory of his victory, to craft a legacy. In fact, that's the whole reason he started this conflict. He wanted to rise up the ranks of the Dojima family and take Kazuma's title to build a legacy. And Kiryu calls him out on this by saying, why would you start a war over something that stupid? Shibusawa then tells Kiryu that his daddy died, and by died I mean committed suicide because a politician messed up. And that politician was in a higher rank than his dad. So he took that thing he messed up and put it on his dad, so the dad had to take the blame for it. Shibusawa had to grow up in that household knowing that. So once he joined the Yakuza, he saw that it was the same exact power structure. This is kind of the reason why Shibusawa is doing this. But then Kiryu retorts, yo, Kazuma ain't like that, you dumb. And Shibusawa was like, yeah man, I know, Kazuma's way cooler, but I will earn his title by any means necessary, even if I make it myself. And then Kiryu tells him that a title like that means nothing, while Shibusawa responds with, I do what I want. And Kiryu responds with, oh yeah, shooting a girl is I do what I want? Or screw you. But then Shibusawa retorts by bringing up that Kazuma isn't exactly the greatest man alive either. He has killed a ton of people to get where he is, and one of his points is that he did involve civilians into the matter, but okay, let's be real here. Makoto, yeah, she's a civilian, but she was gonna get screwed by this conflict either way. And Tachibana could hardly be considered a civilian either. I don't think he counts. But at the end of the day, no matter who believes what, Shibusawa wants to kill Kiryu, and Kiryu wants to beat up Shibusawa, so Shibusawa strips, revealing a finished dragon on his back.
Ryu 背負ってんのはお前だけじゃねえんだよ。お前を殺し風間を越えて俺ら堂島の竜になる。
俺はそんな肩書きはいらねえ。だが竜は一匹でいい。
ああ、お前の言う通りだ。
付き合ってやるぜ。そのくだらねえ戦いに。
Shibusawa is the final boss of the game, and he earns it. He has a heavy-ass track, a track to end all tracks, a track to mark the birth of a legend, to mark the birth of the Dragon of Dojima. He's got the longest health bar out of any of the boss fights. Just like Lao Gui, Shibusawa is a multi-phase fight with different fighting styles. However, he doesn't have heat mode until his last phase, but don't be fooled because he's dangerous in all of his forms. Though I will say, ironically enough, Shibusawa is the hardest to fight during his first phase. All of Shibusawa's fighting styles is based on one of Kiryu's fighting styles. His first phase is based on Kiryu's rush style, and he is one hard dude to hit. He has some long attack strings plus a grab, which he telegraphs with this sick little dance move. But anyways, he dodges all the time, bobbing and weaving out of your attacks like you would with Rush. It's best to use Rush here just to be able to keep up with him. After you beat his health down to a certain extent, we get a brutal QTE transition to another section of this ship. As Shibusawa and Kiryu throw themselves down from high places, but this time Shibusawa switches to his beast mode style. He's slow and he doesn't flinch at all, but I actually found him to be quite the easiest out of the three because he never blocks and his attacks are rather slow, so you can predict them and know when to dodge. But watch out because he is quite dangerous with a chair. Get him down to his last 2 health bars and we get a QTE transition to an upper level, while Kiryu and Shibusawa just beat the crap out of each other while climbing the stairs. We are now at Shibusawa's final phase, and this one isn't as clear cut as the others. It's not really similar to Kiryu's Brawler or Legend style. It's more of its own thing. It's slower than Rush, so dodging attacks here is easier. But he does have this one dangerous combo where he doesn't flinch, and they're big swings. This is where the fight's starting to come to an end. So once we get Shibusawa to half of his health or less, we begin a QTE beatdown where Kiryu just beats everything out of Shibusawa while he hopelessly tries to fight back to no avail. This QT is really great, but I think it should only happen when Shibusawa runs completely out of health, not when he's halfway through his last one. That's my only real issue with this fight. This is a great fight to end the game on. This whole game, we've been the version of Kiryu and Majima before they adopted the titles they hold today. Shibusawa's want for glory, for a legacy, fits perfectly into this theme. But the whole story with his daddy dying was a little bit unnecessary. We could have done without it, and Shibusawa still could have been an interesting character to the narrative. Like, narrative wise, he's the least interesting and worst written of the three, but the fight against him is great. It's the ultimate fight. It's like fighting an equal of yourself, and those type of fights are always legendary. The use of the environment is brutal and impactful. Once you beat Shibusawa down, he brings up that he has some sort of respect for Kuze, or at the very least, his determination. And he uses this to say that he won't stop until he's killed all of you. And just to rub salt into the wound, he says,
"Tachibana no yoni na."
the game does not shy away from this beatdown in the slightest. The brutality is on full display on Shibusawa's face, bloody as hell and with bruises. Despite this, Shibusawa edges Kiryu on to kill him and become a true Yakuza like Kazuma. But before Kiryu can throw another blow, Nishiki tackles him out of it. Nishiki just isn't prepared to see his brother kill someone and not be there for him, because if Kiryu kills him off, he can never go back from it. It's permanent. And I gotta say, that's some very just harmful foreshadowing to the events of the first game. It's quite ironic. We end the scene with a JPEG of the boat. Ouch. We cut back to Majima rocking Lao Gui's world, and Sarah asks if he will kill him, which Majima has to. If he doesn't, that girl's gonna be a target for the rest of her life. Majima has to be the one to do it, not her. However, Sarah manages to convince him not to do it by bringing up Saijima's 18 men hit, reminding Majima that if he kills them for Makoto, he will bring them down with a debt that can't be repaid. Man, if you played Yakuza 4, this really hits hard, which, well, that's why you should play the rest of the series. This brings Majima full circle. His first choice was for Saejima to rebel against the Yakuza in order to protect his brother, but his last choice is because of the memory of Saejima. When Saejima went to kill those 18 men, Majima just felt guilty. Like, why does he have to be innocent while his brother is soaked in blood? Saejima is the whole reason that he's been working towards getting back into the Yakuza this whole game. So in the end, Majima decides not to kill them, but he's still left frustrated what to do. However, Sarah reassures him that he will keep the assassin as a way to blackmail Dojima in case he tries to step out of line. And to make sure the assassin pays for his debts, he's gonna keep him in a similar torture room that Majima was kept in, instead of just straight up killing him. However, Majima ain't feeling too peachy about this whole situation. I mean, he's just being used by Sarah the same way Shimano used him. So Majima proceeds to leave, but Sarah stops him to tell Majima to tell Shimano to take responsibility for betraying the Tojo clan. Then Sarah gives Majima a gun. Majima leaves and then proceeds to hit up Shimano's office, and Sagawa is outside the door because Shimano's having a meeting with the head of the Omi Alliance headquarters about how to split up the land. However, Majima informs Sagawa that Sarah owns the place now and the Omi can't get it anymore, which Sagawa notices that Majima has a gun, but doesn't really do anything about it. But before Majima enters the room, Sagawa reflects on the crazy journey they both went on, even if it wasn't on the best of terms. Majima enters the room and delivers the message to Shimano, but in a less direct fashion, like there's someone that betrayed the Tojo clan, so if Shimano gives proof that it isn't him, then it's all good, that kind of deal. Majima points the gun at Shimano, but then just hands him the gun, assuring Shimano that he'll still be part of the family no matter what happens. So then Shimano points the gun back at Majima, asking if he's willing to die for him, and well, Majima responds with yes, but he asks for a favor, to tell his brother Saejima that he's sorry. Shimano, however, just shoots the Omi dude clean in the head. So like I've said before, Shimano is quite the strange character because while he is rather brutish, he's also willing to play the smart game, so basically, he's willing to let Sarah rule for now, but sooner or later, Shimano will come into power because, you know, it's all about the end game. We chess boys out here. Actually, I'm not part of the chess team. Yeah. Shimano's pretty confident that he will gain power in the end game because he has Majima. And like, how is he gonna lose when he has Majima on his side? We cut to a month later at the Tojo clan where Dojima is just getting cucked hard, man. Awano's dead, Kuze and Shibusawa are in jail, so he doesn't have any lieutenants anymore. And Sarah becomes the third chairman of the Tojo clan instead of Dojima. And apparently, Dojima requested that Sarah become that chairman, which, well, from his clenched fists and his quivering lip, I'm pretty sure the reason he requested him is because Sarah cucked him because he had the assassin. So now, Sarah is the chairman of the Tojo clan. And Dojima, well, poor Dojima. We cut to Kiryu talking to Kazuma in jail, where he tells him about something he already knows about and how he plans to do it. We're not told what they meant by that until the next cutscene where Kiryu is just chilling in Serena and Nishiki just barges in asking why he's joining up with the Dojima family again. Like, you know, this whole game's plot was about how the Dojima family was trying to kill you, so why? Kiryu here then has a moment similar to Majima's speech with Awano, reflecting on his journey and the people he met along the way, but instead of being inspired by crazy people, Kiryu is more impressed by the extent of what people will go to set things right.
俺はあの一件でたくさんの人間のけじめってのを見せつけられた。正直すげえって思った。極道だけじゃねえ、仇だって。マジで俺なんかまだまだだなって思い知らされた。
The extent Oda went to set things right with Tachibana, and the extent Tachibana went to set things right with Makoto, that willpower showed Kiryu that he's still just a rookie who needs to grow and develop into his own person. Simply put, he's going back to the Dojima family to set things right, and whatever awaits him ahead, he's ready to accept. He knows that Kazuma isn't the ideal Yakuza he strives to be, but he doesn't care. He wants to follow his own way of being Yakuza, something different from Kazuma, even if he's shunned upon. Kiryu then gets up and dons his original suit, to which Nishiki takes issue with. He really isn't a fan of this new gray suit and suggests to go with a more black or white suit, to which Kiryu replies,
白も黒も気分じゃねえ。今の俺はこれがいいんだ。俺が決めた。これで始めたいんだ。
Basically, the meaning here is that Kiryu now isn't a straight Yakuza thug like he was when he wore his black suit, or a complete civilian like he was when he wore his white suit. He's somewhat of a mix in between now. So yeah, Nishiki's being a little bit bummed out that like Kiryu's being all cool and stuff. But then Kiryu apologizes to Nishiki for everything he has put him through and swears to pay him back even if it takes his whole life. So now Nishiki wants to hit up a restaurant, but Kiryu's broke, but they head out anyways like bros. We cut back to Majima, but now he's wearing his classic getup, which Sagawa isn't exactly too crazy about. But Majima doesn't care. He's his own man. After all the crap Majima had to go through, his only concern now is just to live it up, live crazy, live his own life, without any regrets or worries. Majima and Sagawa take a smoke break together, and here, Sagawa looks back on all the crap they went through. And well, despite it all, Sagawa still considers Majima a friend, but jokingly Majima doesn't ever want to see him again, which well, that's pretty reasonable, but as he turns to leave,
大きにやで、佐賀。
は？何言ってんだお前。
あんたは何があっても諦めへん。執着心の塊のような男や。あんたには諦めんことの重要さを教わったわ。俺も執着するで。真島五郎っちゅう男の生き方に。
So despite all the crap Sagawa put Majima through, he still found something to respect about him. Sagawa gives Majima a farewell and he's off. However, Sagawa lacks a happy ending because some Omi Yakuza come by and shoot him in the back for the actions of his blood brother Shimano.
あの世で待ってるぜ、真島ちゃん。はあ、ずいぶん早いお迎えだね。さ、俺も行くか。なあ。
We cut to Makoto, who's actually alive, but not in the best of situations. She and the doctor who saved her are getting harassed by some flashy fools wanting to bang. However, Makoto's straight to the point and slaps one of them when he tries to drag the doctor away. They're talking some nonsense about amends, to which Makoto tells them she's willing to hear them out as long as they let the doctor go. The goons do so, but one of them makes a lewd remark to Makoto, which leads to her slapping him again, or better yet, slapping the other one. A slap for each one. But before they manage to hurt her, Majima shows up.
兄貴。
Makoto never knew Majima's name or really saw his face because she was kinda blind, so she doesn't recognize him. Then the goons start talking about making a porn video with her? Ugh. But before they say Majima's name, he just knocks their asses out.
あ天下のマジえ
Doctor then brings over some dude who comes over to protect Makoto. Majima sees this dude, then goes over and takes him to have a little private talk, and they have a little bit of a stare down, and then Majima just straight up tells him, yo, are you smashing? Which the doctor's all like, wait, hold up, no. So this dude is a doctor that helped Makoto recover her sight through therapy. But Majima wants to know, does he love her? And, despite being a little bit flustered, he does say yes. So then Majima says, well, go, and then leaves. The doctor goes back to Makoto, and this time, he decides to man up and actually asks her out on a date. And Makoto looks on as Majima disappears into the crowd. As Majima leaves her behind so she doesn't get wrapped up in the criminal underground he's involved in. She just watches as Majima disappears into the crowd. And then the credits hit. This is the only other part of the game that was changed from the Japanese version. But don't worry, because both songs used in the credits are beautiful and wonderful tracks to reflect on the game's story.
諦めたくない人の風下だけは立たないそんなプライドだけの戦い教えてくれよ意味はあんのかい男は泣かない泣け出すこともないそれはきっと現実的じゃないでもバカな俺は信じるしかねえんだよ
During the credits, we get a few teases at what the major players of Yakuza 1 will be doing, and once the credits are over, there's still a few scenes left to view. We cut to Makoto visiting her brother's grave, but while praying for him, she hears a familiar tune. She digs it out of the ground and finds her old broken watch fixed and making a lovely tune. She thanks the man who fixed her watch.
ありがとう。ありがとう。
And then we cut to Majima out in the streets when suddenly, Kiryu and Majima come face to face.
Yo. Kiryu-chan!
And the game ends here. I absolutely love what they managed to do with this prequel, giving us an earlier version of Kamurocho and Sotenbori, and giving us a ton of new and interesting characters to follow. I think the story for the most part avoids the pitfalls with prequels where everything kind of is a little bit contrived. The characters of Kiryu and Majima that are presented here are reasonable and transition well to future games, without too much annoyance or retcons. Yakuza 0 is my favorite game of 2017, and I implore you to get it if you own a PS4. And surprisingly enough, it's actually getting a PC port soon, which but that's crazy. Like, a PlayStation exclusive game is coming to PC. Like, if the version's good, then get that too. But there's still more to discuss. Majima still has to fight Kuze and Shibusawa, so this is where the climax battles come in. Climax battles are these sets of battle challenges that are made available to you after you beat the game. So there's a couple of normal battles you have to partake in, some frustrating gimmicky battles, but once you do them all, you unlock boss rushes. So here you get to take on all the bosses in the game, but not all at once. They're split up between 6 rushes. The boss fights in Yakuza is one of the best things about it, so being able to revisit them like this, and sometimes in a more difficult fashion, is super dope. My only real issue with these boss rushes is that they're not exactly the boss fights you fought in the game, aka they don't have their QTEs, or sometimes they don't even have their heat modes, so you don't get to fight them while they're all flashy and stuff. And also for certain bosses that transition to different areas, you don't actually get to do any transitions. So yeah, Shibusawa's fight isn't nearly as good here, because you just straight up don't fight his middle form. It's not there. Same with Lao Gui. I don't know why they did this, because in previous games, they've actually managed to get complete boss fights in these boss rushes with their QTEs, transitions, heat modes, etc, etc. I don't know, maybe they just ran out of time. Yakuza is a yearly series, which, well, despite Yakuza making good time on that, I guess some disappointments are bound to happen. But overall, I am a huge fan of this because it means you don't have to play the entire game again if you just want to play some good boss fights. I'm not that big on the gimmicky fights you have to do to get to these boss fights, but there are some neat fights here and there that you have to do to get to these fights. But overall, love this. I keep coming back to it every now and then just to play some good boss fights. So yeah, let's get back to the final part of the game. But before we get to that final part, there is another thing you get after you beat the game, and it's called Premium Adventure Mode. So you know how in most open world games, once you beat the main story, the game allows you to return to the open world and do any side content you missed? Well, that's what Premium Adventure is. Once you beat the game, you have a premium save which you can use to go into Premium Adventure and then just explore the world without any main story harming you. Finish up whatever you need to finish and just delve into the world of Kamurocho, Sotenbori, and just go at it. Finish up any side quests you need to finish up and wear whatever costume you want while doing it. In the main story, you can't change costumes because you're too busy dealing with some Yakuza politics, but here, go mad. And that about wraps up this entire game, but there is still one final challenge for those who seek it. I've spoiled the entire game. What I'm about to spoil now is some secret endgame content. So if you're more interested in figuring out on your own, then click off the video now. I've already told you this game is absolutely worth your time, but for those who are still interested in what your final challenge is, here we go. There is a secret final boss for those who do all the side quests available. Do all of Kiryu's and you will get to fight Soamon, and do all of Majima's and you will get to fight Joamon. This is a pretty fun completion challenge. Only a few sub-story strings get tedious, but overall it's quite fun given the wacky situations the side quests put you in. But what is a pain is the 100% completion. Like, yo, who did this? Like, Blackjack's RNG is it's RNG, bro. How am I supposed to make $5 million from it? And also, bro, what is up with the dream machines? I have not gotten a single top grade item despite hitting up that thing like 100 times. And also, who thought it would be a neat idea to make one of the achievements to win 10 rounds of cat fights? Like, it doesn't sound like much, but bro, you know my feelings on cat fights. So, it's quite a good thing that you don't have to do any of that to fight these boss fights though. So once you're done with Kiryu's stuff, it's time to fight Soamon. You hit up a taxi and end up at a bullfighting ring, where the big man is there with a stylish hairdo. This man is from a family of trained assassins. However, your reputation has grown because you did all the side quests, but he can't let you be better than him, so now it's time to throw down. It's fight time. This is the hardest boss fight in the game, so of course, he has a ridiculous health bar to boot. The final boss of the main story, Shibusawa, has 5 health bars. How many does this guy have? He has 14 health bars. Soamon is not your little sissy boy, and he has a moveset to match. Oh, and you can't forget his final boss fight theme. Ooh, threatening. Something that you will immediately notice is that Soamon does not play fair because of his big cannon. His first phase is just him shooting cannonballs at you. He shoots a few in the air and they're pretty hard to predict where they'll land, so you have to keep positioning in mind. Then there's his move where he just shoots straight ahead without telegraphing. The fun thing with these attacks is that there's a chance that if it hits you, you'll get stun locked and the boy will fire a one-hit laser. So yeah, I just beasted him because he was being a little bit unfair. But once you get him down to a certain point, he changes his fighting style to Shibusawa's beast style. However, the biggest change is that a helicopter comes by and throws down furniture. But watch yourself, because this is dangerous furniture. The furniture bounces, and if it hits you, you take damage. The thing is, you have no recovery frames when they hit you. So if a lot of furniture hits you at once, you can take big damage and you'll be dead quickly. Sans Undertale. Despite this is the easier phase of Soamon because the helicopter also drops down a power-up that makes you invincible, just like they do in the Colosseums. Keep in mind Soamon can also get this. The fight comes down to scrambling across the field trying to find a drink and then just punching Soamon while a bunch of chairs bounce off of you. If Soamon gets a drink, you can't damage him, so you just have to get back to scrambling around the field for the drink while avoiding the deadly chairs and tables. So if you manage to beat him, then congratulations, you managed to beat the hardest boss fight in the game for Kiryu. However, there's still Joamon with Majima. So you do all the side quests with Majima, and same thing here. Some strings are a bit tedious, but overall it's fun. You hit up a taxi and you arrive at the same place where Kiryu had his fight. Keep in mind, you can do Majima's fight or Kiryu's fight first if you would like. Which one you go with is up to you. Joamon is waiting for him there, and he has the same background as Soamon, but he actually has a nice little hat. Joemon wants to fight the greatest warrior, and Majima thinks he's a super bad guy who's out to destroy the world, but it doesn't matter either way because it's fight time. Joemon is easily the harder fight of the two Amons. One reason for that is because Majima doesn't have access to Kiryu's beast mode, and Joemon's combat style is super aggressive. Yo, calm down. He just basically uses Kiryu and Majima's hidden fighting style. But Joemon uses these combat styles in a way someone who is actually good at the game would use them. He's constantly dodge canceling out a combo so you can't attack him. And you also can't attack him head on at all. Try it and Joemon will just block and jump back to throw daggers, copying a moveset from Lao Gui. That's the thing with these secret fights. They're not exactly these massive fights, they're more just copy and pasted a previous moveset, but they change it up in such a way to make them super hard and difficult. Like, Soamon is the more imaginative of the two fights, but Joemon is way harder. But in the end, both of their movesets are cheap and they both have a ton of health, which by the way, Joemon has 14 health bars just like Soamon. Joemon starts with Kiryu's legend combat, but once you get him down to half his health, he switches to Majima's Mad Dog combat style. And here you're kinda screwed. The boy does not stutter or get stunned, and the only way to effectively get him down is through Majima's Mad Dog counter. Well, use any counters to survive, but the Mad Dog counter is easily the best counter, and you really don't have any other reason to use any of the other counters. If you manage to beat Joemon, then congratulations, you beat the hardest boss in the entire game. Pat yourself on the back, cause you did it. I would recommend having a save slot saved beforehand just so you can revisit these fights, because having to do all these side quests again just to fight them again will be a pain. To be honest, I wish these dudes were in the climax battles. Anyways, that's my review. Thanks for watching. I've been on the edge of my seat for quite a while now. I think it's about time I get off.
子供なのね夢を追って傷ついて嘘が下手なくせに笑えない笑顔を見せた I love you もろくに言わない口下手でほんまに不器用なのにどうしてさよならは言えたのダメだねダメよダメなのよあんたが好きで好きすぎてどれだけ強いお酒でも歪まない思い